Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Love when we get all like spiritual and metaphysical, and she does all of it right over there. Your metaphysical resume goes so deep, but you are a psychic, a cleanser. You are an energy healer. You can read people. There's so much going on. Judie Burroughs is back on the program. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about yourself, Steve?
Doing great. We're gonna talk about cleansing today, and that we're gonna go all over with that. Why do you need to cleanse? So many different reasons. Let's say you're dealing with a situation in your life not going the way you want it to. Maybe you need to cleanse the energy around you. That can be done. Maybe you've got addiction issues. We can cleanse your body based on what you do. Why don't we center on that? So many of us have challenges there, whether it's addiction issues or we got something that we can't release. How would you cleanse somebody in that regard?
Well, what I found is we do a couple of different cleanses. The hands-on cleansing is the same for all of that. Addiction issues, personal issues, relationship issues. I call it a life reset. It honestly just gives you a new starting point and kind of washes everything else away. It's very intense. Matter of fact, if you want to see any of it, you could go to our YouTube channel. We have a lot of our cleansings on there, and of course our show is called Spiritually Ripped.
So we can actually see you do a cleansing. Like, what's involved before we go to check that out? What's I don't want to call your average cleansing, but you got to do one. What would you do?
Well, we start off with an indigenous eye drop made from a tree root. It's not comfortable, but it is the start of the spiritual cleanse. It starts clearing the muck from the third eye, which is, of course, is your center of your whole self. And then we move on to the big boy. It's an indigenous snuff. It's made by a tribe that we work with. They also make the eye drops, and it's administered through the nose.
Wow.
And my husband is a certified shaman, and he does administer it. And then myself and one of my girls, we do all the rest of it. So it's really a team effort. It's the three of us. Then we travel all over doing cleanses.
Amazing. All right. So can you do a fresh start, a reboot? Can you do that virtually at all?
I do. I prefer the hands-on, but I work with people like in Australia and down in Fiji and people over in Jamaica, and I do remote cleanses for them. And I work with, but like we were talking about the other week, I do a lot of court case work, and I like to cleanse the client remotely before I start the work. Because it's like, I like a clean slate.
Yeah. So, based on that, when you are going to work with somebody, how do you get rid of the energy from the person you were just with?
Well, I have to clear myself. I have different techniques, different ways. Whatever spirit tells me is the way that I use. One of my favorite is a stick of Palo Santo will literally change the negative to the positive.
It's so funny you should say that, because I was at somebody's house last night and never realized that they were kind of in tune with what we're talking about. I've never held a stick of Palo Santo. And
what?
Stop. Don't judge me. I have the spray, but having the actual wood was like, I didn't want to let go of it. It just smelled so good. And it was just like a nice vibe. She had some candles going. I'm like, I didn't eat. Wow. I got to get that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is. I sell it here. I have basically a whole tree.
Why does it work? Why does it work to clear energy? I mean, it smells awesome. It smells better than some cologne or perfume. Why does it work?
You can ask me that same question for almost anything I do, and I don't have an answer. I really don't. And I don't even know how I knew that it worked, because everything that I do came to me before I ever knew about it. Like I would start doing something and in my work, and then I'd read up on it and I'd be like, oh wow, I already do that. That's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah. So it's almost like you intuitively do things that involve intuition. You're already doing them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, sage and Palo Santo has been around for centuries, and people have been
Hmm.
using them as part of a cleanse. Um, what if what if you need to cleanse belongings? Let's say you're moving, coming from maybe a place you don't want to be to a place
Right.
you need to get to, and you have belongings with you that were part of the past. How do you clean
Well,
them? How do you make them fresh energy again?
so there's a couple of ways. Now, I make a product called Woo Juice, WOO juice. And I've been making it for a few years. I've sold it to every single state in the United States. There's a store up in, what's the name of that town? Up by Butternut, Wisconsin. There's a store up there that actually carries it. And the way that I make it, you could use it to mop your floors. You could put some in your laundry. Like if you buy clothes from a secondhand store and you don't know what kind of energy comes with those clothes, you can literally put a quarter cup in your wash and it washes that away. It makes it the energy neutral.
Wow. So you could just take some of it and, let's say it's furniture, wipe the furniture down.
Yep, put it in a spray bottle, spray it down. You can use it for crystals. You can use it for altar space. You can, like I said, I mop my whole house with it.
Interesting. Wow.
Mhm.
And thanks for making that. Like, what
No,
would
you're welcome. You can even put it in a bathtub and get in the bath just to clear your energy, for a time, whatever, if you're having a bad day or something. And just, it's kind of like aromatherapy in that sense. But it also has other properties and qualities.
So what we're talking about, would we find that on your website, readingsbyjudie.com?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, just want to tell everybody, Judie, JUDIE.com.
Yes.
Readings by
Yes.
Judie, JUDIE.com. When we talk about energy, Judie, do you spot people and their energy? Does it come to you? Like, do you pass somebody at the store, meet somebody at a party, and in your brain, you've already registered, all right, that person has a lot of negative energy? Or do you see like, oof, wow, positive coming out of that one?
Yeah, we did it today sitting at my daughter's dentist appointment. I told my husband, I said, oh, I do not like that lady's energy over there. And I pointed to this lady and he was like, yeah, me either. He said, it's a real bad vibe. I'm like, yes, it is. And we were right, because we saw her facial expression afterwards with certain people. And I was like, I knew it. I just knew it. Yeah. And sometimes I wish I could just turn it off. So if I don't want that to happen with me, if I'm out with my family or something, I just have to kind of focus on what we're doing at our table or what we're doing in our little circle, because otherwise I'm a big people watcher, because we're always at the airport, and that's the worst place.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, oh, I know what she's up to. Oh, I know what he's doing. Like, yeah, it's bad. It's real bad.
I guess it's kind of the same thing that most of us don't even realize it. Like you go to a party and you walk in, it's like, wow, this feels good. This is going to be a good time. Yeah. And maybe it's because of the energy of the people around is all good, or
Right.
you walk in someplace and like, I don't know, I'm probably going to get out of here in like 20 minutes, but you don't know
Right.
why.
Right.
You're just feeling something isn't, I don't want to say isn't right, but just isn't supporting you, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Yeah, it's true. But it has a lot to do with the environment, because people come into my home and I have a lot of clients that come here and they'll walk in and 5 minutes later they're like, every bad thing I was feeling before I got here, I feel so peaceful now. I hear that all the time. And I'm like, yeah, it's because I keep my environment like, I have my rituals and stuff that I do in here. This is my space where I have to have that, and I make sure that I have it. So when you walk in my house, you feel that even if I'm having a bad day.
So what would you say most people ask for when they reach out to you? Is it psychic readings? Are they doing tarot readings? What do they usually ask for?
Cleansing. That's the biggest thing.
Wow.
Cleansing and court cases. When people reach out to us, that is the two top number one things that they're looking for.
Interesting. So when we say court cases, do we mean, let's say somebody is going to court and going to deal with something, confront something, what would you do for them?
I have my rituals and my jars, like sweetening jars and sour jars, and the things to make people not speak out, like what they, if somebody's not telling the truth, you gotta hush them up, close the lies off, and just a lot of different things. I have to, when I'm doing my work, I have to just listen and hear whatever I'm being told to do. That's what I do. And it's different all the time. And I usually like to take a pair of the client's shoes, which, I get, it's funny because I know the postman's like, what is this lady up to? I get shoes all the time in the mail. People send them to me from all over the country, and I have to bury them a certain way and put different items in with the shoes. And yeah, it's a whole process.
At least you're not asking for underwear. So he might look at you kind of funny when you.
Well, not for a court case, but so one of my girls that works for me, she does like love spells or whatever. And sometimes we'll get toothbrushes and dirty toothbrushes and dirty underwear and soap bars. Yeah. And we're over here like open it up, and I got the tongs and the rubber gloves, and I'm like, yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. Let's talk about that. The love spell. Does it work? What do you do? Who do you do it for?
Yeah. I don't personally do the love work. I don't like to touch relationships. It's not my forte. But I do have a relationship expert that works for me, and she does all of that, and she stays busy.
So give an example.
So just say, okay, really great example. There's a lady, she's been working with us for about 4 years, maybe 3. And her and her husband, they've been together a long time, and he kind of strayed on the side and was giving away all their savings to this other person. And so the lady calls us, and she's like, I need it to stop. So my girl that does the work, she did what's called a breakup, or pardon my French, a bitch be gone spell. And it did. It severed the tie with these two folks, and she ended up going her separate way. He went back to his wife, which she was super happy. And she asked for her to do where he wouldn't go back that way, and to cause like a bunch of chaos within that, so that it would be terrible if he did stray back. And next thing you knew, the mistress's husband and the other husband were all arguing, and he confronts him in a parking lot, and he's telling, you better not ever go back and talk to him again. It was chaos. And so, yeah,
wow.
It was, yeah.
Interesting. And you've always heard about, love spells and, things like that, your potion or whatever, but didn't know that can be done. Interesting. All right.
Yep.
We talked about this briefly in the very beginning when we got together, but when it comes to psychic ability, where do you put yourself on that scale?
Oh, I think I'm the best. I just got nominated in my county for being the best psychic reader in my county.
Oh, well, congratulations on that. Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not doubting. What I'm saying is, I guess I should be more clear about the question. Where in terms of what you do, you do readings, cleansings, things like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Do you do a lot of psychic readings? Is it something that, people ask for? Are they looking to connect with the other side?
Well, I'll tell you what, because my price is pretty high for me personally, not for my girls, but for me personally, because I read for like, celebrities and stuff. And so my price is kind of steep. However, I'll get a lot of people that'll say, I'm just letting you know I'm saving up. I can't wait to get a reading from you. So I don't read a lot, but when I do, it's worth my time.
Gotcha. Okay. And I'm having a flashback to the last time or the time before that. You threw something to me that was, remember the V name and V word?
Yes.
Yeah. Go back. If you got any doubts, and you can, I was I was floored. I was like, what? Like, how did that even, yeah. Yeah. So the proof is,
And then the fireworks.
and then the fireworks, that all had something to do with it. Yeah. Very interesting. I forgot about that, but now it's coming back. It's like, whoa, all those pieces were spot on in terms of my life situation at the moment. And you nailed them like amazingly. And I didn't say anything. You just like throwing stuff out. I'm like, yeah, okay. Check the
Yeah,
box
because
there.
you said something, and I was like, when you said whatever you said, and I was like, wow, I just hear like poo, 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 like fireworks, like major fireworks going off. And you were like,
Yeah. Because I'm moving somewhere where they do a fireworks show, but it is like there. Like it's not like
it's the
there.
spot.
It's the spot. Just happens to be where they do it every year. They're doing it again this year, and it's pretty funny. But yeah, we'll move from that on the cleansing side. When if somebody does have addictions, how do you cleanse them that way? Is it the same way that you talked about before?
It is, however, so a lot of the cleansing comes from within the person. The remedies that we use assist the person to release that. It's whatever it is that holds them hostage within their own body and holds them hostage to that addiction. They have to be really ready to let that go, because if they're not, the cleansing is going to just go to crap. But if they're really ready, and people, when they come to me and they pay the price, they're usually really ready. And I've had a lot of successes. Some not so good, because the person, and I'll tell them up front when they come in here, listen, I don't know if you're ready for this. I don't know if this is what's going to do it for you, because I sometimes I feel that whatever it is. And then one day, I was so crazy. I was doing a cleanse on this guy, and I said, wow, you got some liver issues. Like, you really need to see a doctor. And his wife looks and she's like, oh my gosh. She said, honey, did you know about that? And he was like, oh yeah, I already knew. And he was like, I can't believe you said that.
Wow. It's almost like you when somebody goes for hypnosis, whatever it might be, smoking, addiction, anxiety, you have to want it to go away. You can't just show up and say, all right, do it for me. That's it. I guess that's why they say you have to do the work. That is part of the work. You have to do your part as well.
Yes. Yep. Just even in my court cases, like I require the client, even if they're locked up in jail, there's things that I require for them to do. And I'll say, now you show me that you really want this, and you and I working together, we're going to succeed.
What stands out in your mind in doing a reading for somebody recently that just like we were talking before with me, you pulled some stuff out. Anything recently, just like, wow. And then it got validated?
I'm trying to think of the ones I just did today.
Wow.
I just know the girl just said I was spot on. Then, and I was just doing a reading right before our call. And I finished up a reading. And at the very end, she said something about, a certain name. And I was like, yeah, but who is Chris? And she was like, whoa, you hear everybody. I guess she had a room full of folks. And everybody was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And she was like, well, actually, he's right here in front of me. What do you have to tell him? And how did you know? And I was like, well, I didn't, but I can tell you that there's going to be a child that's put on him that doesn't belong to him. And they were like, oh. And then I brought up another situation with her. And I was like, somebody from your past it's either happening right now or it's right upon you. I said, this person's going to come back into your life after you guys had an argument or a split, parting of ways or whatever. I said, and I feel like it's a female. I said, and she's coming back to you for the wrong reason. She wants revenge, and she's going to try to ruin you. And she said, that's crazy. She said, because my cousin who I had a falling out with, just did that. She said she just came back into my life, and now she's trying to get in on the business that I have. And I said, don't let her, because she's going to try to ruin you.
Wow.
So it really just hit home for her.
So I guess it's going to remain to be seen what happens in that situation, I guess. Yeah. We have Sherry checks in from Teaneck, New Jersey. This is instant feedback, steve@gmail.com. Says, can you connect with pets on the other side?
Pets, now I've never done that. I've never, no, I can't say that. I can't say that. There's been a few times I've been doing a mediumship reading, and there'll be some type of a pet or something that'll come through, and I'll say it to the person and I'll describe the animal, and they'll be flipping out. They'll be like, oh my gosh, that was my dog or whatever. But as far as anything more than that, no, I've never been able to do that. I wish.
So in other words, you don't seek out the animal that passed on the other side, but if it comes through naturally, organically through a reading, then it's there.
Right.
Gotcha.
Correct.
Yeah. Why do you think that is, that it doesn't, you don't connect right away? Any thoughts on that? On the psychic
No, I sometimes I wonder that about people too, like at random times, literally. Story, not to get off the subject. I'm driving many years ago. I'm driving my bus at the airport, because I used to drive a bus to the airport, and I see one of the crossing guards. And I hear, now, mind you, my bus is empty now. I just dropped all my passengers off. But I hear spirit is saying, stop, the man in the yellow shirt, the man in the yellow shirt. Okay, I'm going to stop. And I don't usually do that. I stopped and I put the bus in park. I got off and I relayed the message to him. I said, do you have a daughter that passed away? He said, I do. And he's like, how do you know? Have you been watching me? And I'm like, no. I said, but she said, thank you for keeping her drawings and her poems safe, even though it's in your underwear drawer. And he just started bawling. So his daughter had died from she killed herself, and he had saved all her poetry and her sketches, and he put them in his underwear drawer.
Wow. That's crazy. And you've got that feeling that I got to stop right now, and I got to connect with this person.
Yep.
Wow. Does that happen a lot to you, Judie? Like, are you just going through your, got to go to the grocery store, supermarket, and then all of a sudden you feel?
I get a lot of messages when I'm out places, but I have to look at the person and think, okay, do they look receptive to what I might say to them? Because I don't want anybody to come punching me in the face, because,
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah.
And these days,
how dare you?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very, very selective.
And you must be able to feel their energy within as well, whether it's a good thing to go up to somebody.
Yes. And that's how I discern, should I or shouldn't I? And just like the other morning, first time in 40 plus years that I've been doing this. And the other morning I woke up and Spirit's like, you have to go on live and start speaking out. I can't wait to tell you this. You have to say what you're hearing, because especially in the morning, I get a flood of messages. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go on live with that. I never have done it, but I did it anyway. So I'm on live and I'm saying, hey, I feel like this is this person's name from, over the Las Vegas area, or this area, that area. Later on in the afternoon, I had said, I feel like there's a lady named Lily. I said, I feel like she's got 1 foot on the other side and 1 foot still here. And I can't remember what else I said. And early that afternoon, after I did that, I had a text message on Facebook, and it said, hi, my name is so-and-so. Lily is my aunt. She was like, we just put her in a home and they don't think she's going to make it. And there was a couple other things I said that just collaborated with that.
You can't make that up. I mean, you witnessed that. You felt it.
Right.
Wow. When you say live, what do you mean?
Because I'm really big on Facebook.
Okay.
So I did a Facebook Live. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Wow. Tell
Like
everyone.
we're on there right now.
Oh, hi, everyone. Everybody on Facebook Live.
We're on Facebook Live. We're on YouTube, my YouTube channel.
Gotcha.
We're all over the place.
So if somebody wants to reach out to you, they just go to your website and you can kind of guide them, because I think a lot of people might not know what they need.
Right. It's true. That's why they can always call me or email me at readingsbyjudie, Judie @gmail.com. My phone number 239-878-3340. If I don't answer, I'm in a reading or I'm working. However, I do have an alternate number for my assistant, and she will be glad to help you or guide you.
So we were talking about cleansings before. What would you say is the number one thing that people do wrong when they're attempting to do a cleansing, whether it's a saging or Palo Santo in an office, a house, or whatever? Is there anything that we should be doing that we're not?
Well, for the sage, most people forget to open their windows and let out what they've just stirred up. You have to, if you don't, and that's only with sage. With Palo Santo, there's really no wrong thing to do, because it changes the negative to positive. And so you could literally just Palo Santo yourself or your house and just go on about your day. You don't really have to do anything else. But when you are using a Palo Santo stick on yourself, make sure you do your hands like this. Do underneath your hands. Let the smoke just cover your hands. Do the bottom of your feet. Go around your head. Inhale like aromatherapy. Inhale the fumes, the smoke, and let it like fill up your body. You have to really get into anything you do in that aspect. You have to really, really get into it. Get your energy. Let it just clear. Let it feel like it's washing over you.
Is there a difference in terms of effectiveness between a Palo Santo spray or the actual wood stick?
I think the spray is effective to an extent. I don't think it does everything that the stick does, but I think it's very good as long as it's made from, quality ingredients. Yes.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. You never know, like what's in that can. It could be just,
Right.
something that, like, in essence, or something that smells like Palo Santo. You're not even gonna really know. You wouldn't know.
Yep. And you know what? The truth too is that sometimes the sticks are just cut wood. So you really have to know that smell, and you have to see the oil in your Palo Santo stick. When you see the dark oil, it's Palo Santo.
Wow. See, I didn't know that. Last night when I was holding that Palo Santo stick, it was dark, so I really couldn't see. So I assume it was legit.
Right.
Right. I don't know, but it smelled good. Definitely. We're just about out of time. I'm like, we didn't know we were going to talk about cleansing today. And then
I know, right?
30 minutes later, we're still talking about cleansing. And, but I've saged this office, and there's been some bad energy around here. I don't have windows that open, so that could be a challenge. So
what about your door?
It doesn't lead to the outside, leads to a hallway.
Well, I'd push it out into the hallway.
Close the door.
I want to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I know that's rude, right?
Yeah, well, it's not my problem. It's a common hallway,
That's right. Get out.
Put it into the bathroom or whatever.
Right.
And the intention, I always hear there's an intention that you need to say what you're trying to do.
Yeah, always. You have to put intention with everything you do in your life, really. Because if you just do stuff, you're just doing it, and you're not doing it for a greater good for yourself or an outcome. You have to speak it out, or you have to think about it instead of just doing it. Just doing it is basically really just doing it.
Right. It's like you're going through the motions, but you're not really, it's not coming from within.
Right.
Yeah.
And when it comes from in here, that's it.
Yep. Readingsbyjudie.com. Check her out. So many different things you do, and you have the staff there, and even do weddings.
Yes, I do.
They marry people. It's like,
I do. And I baptize babies.
Oh, wow. One-stop shop, and it's right over there. Judie, always great talking with you.
It's always good talking with you too. I always enjoy it.
Same. All right. We'll get together again sometime soon. I got to get to Palo Santo or go on your website and get it. Do you have it there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course. All right. We'll check you out next time. Thanks a lot.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.